Good morning everyone, hello and welcome to what is technically day 6 of Vlogmas because I had to miss 2 days unfortunately. As many of you will know, I do suffer with endometriosis. Please don't, by the way, give me hints or tips on how to cope with it. I've had it for quite a while and I've had like a major surgery and everything, so my care is under control. But every now and then I get extremely tired and I just, needed a couple of days off. So we're back. And we're back with a bang really. We're back with a fantastic sew along that I've been so excited to share with you guys. So today I'm going to be making my own Christmas jumper. Now, bit of backstory here. I grew up with parents with a Christmas company and therefore with a healthy skepticism surrounding Christmas. We had wonderful family Christmases, but we never really did Christmas jumpers or anything like that because it's just not our vibe. However, as I got older, they are quite fun, and I own one singular Christmas jumper that I bought many years ago because I really object to most Christmas jumpers. Like I think they're a bit naff really, but my one is adorable. It's from Primark, which now makes me sad because I don't like to own anything from Primark, but it is pink and like baby pink, and it has tiny hedgehogs and Santa hats on it, which is adorable because you can't tell it's a Christmas jumper till you come up close. However, we are somewhat breaking the tradition today, and I'm going to be making myself a kind of pyjama Christmas jumper, so the kind of thing I can wear with pyjamas on Christmas Day and be really snug, but not potentially outside. However, to do this I have got a wonderful pattern that came free in the December issue of Love Sewing, which is this. It's the 4-in-1 pullover, and as you can see I'm making C, which has got this contrast V. Now looking at it, it doesn't say you need ribbing, but I feel like I probably should have got some, but we'll find out. I'll be able to make cuffs out of this. And we are using some lovely fabrics from my sewing box, and this was my first order from them, which I loved. I've got the little card, you can't really see it, but it is behind me on the board, and I talked through the fabrics when they arrived. But now that you guys have seen the pattern, hopefully it will make more sense. So here are my fabrics. I have got this stunning crimson red terry, which is for the main part of the jumper, and then for my contrast V, ultimate pyjama vibes here, we have got some grey reindeers, yay! And hopefully this will look super cute together. I just fancied making something really stupid to wear in the house and be really snug, as it is our first Christmas Day together with just the two of us, and I can wear what I want. A big feature of my family Christmas is that we all look really nice to open presents because my dad takes proper photos on his camera, which I love and we have archives of, but it does mean that on Christmas morning I do always really make an effort to look really nice when we're doing presents. Whereas this year, Adam and I are going to open our presents in our pyjamas, and I can't wait. Glass of champagne, pyjamas, sorted. And then I will be sharing a proper Christmas Day outfit sew along with you guys later on in Vlogmas. So let's get started. So I just wanted to tell you guys, just before I cut out my last piece, a little bit more about this fabric. So it's a medium weight French terry, or like a light to medium weight, but it's a loop back. So if I zoom that in, as you can see, so it's got like a fair amount of stretch. It's got a lot of two-way, but not like a tiny bit of four-way, which is perfect for this pattern. This pattern is one of the free Threadcount ones, and I've actually just cut my pattern pieces out because it's the jumper. I've just gone for a medium, which I think is a 35 to 37 inch bust, and that's really what I'm going off because I want it to be cuddly and kind of just cozy to wear in the house. So that's kind of the plan. I've cut out my pattern because I hate tracing off tissue pattern pieces. It's the most frustrating thing, and realistically it's a pretty square jumper. I can add an inch or, you know, make it smaller or bigger if I need to, so a medium's a fairly safe bet. So I'm just going to cut my sleeves out, and then I'll be on to my feature panels and the neckband, and then we can get sewing. So I have cut out all of my pattern pieces, and the first stage is we have to reinforce the center V. Sorry, I've got so much washing against me. So we've got to reinforce the center V of the front and back with an ease stitch. So there's a little, like, we have to clip into the V and then basically just sew another V. So we'll do that quickly, and then it's front and back shoulders together. And we will check in after that when I've got slightly more jumper. There's a lot of steps here because there's 4 versions and 2 of them have a ruffle. The first 2 steps are relevant, and then the next 4 have nothing to do with me. So I'm kind of trying to go through and figure out what's my next step, if that makes any sense. So we'll do the first 2 bits, I'll have a read, and then I'll let you know. The next step was to do the same, like literally all of it's about because there's 2 versions of the ruffles, and honestly, like, most of the instructions are about the ruffles. So I have attached my 2 pieces at the shoulder, so I have my yoke and the main jumper. I've also quite messily reinforced, but it's done. The V, so this is inside out, so I can show you my lovely stitching. I am making a real effort to finish the edges, so you had to, that's a bad side, I need to restitch that. I've made a real effort, so you're meant to double stitch the seams on this because obviously it's a jumper, it gets a lot of quite rough wear, and then also finish the seams some way, and I've used my over edge foot there and there just to neaten off the edges, and I've done the same on the yoke. So I've got a pale thread in my bobbin at the moment and a red thread on top, which is fine as long as I remember if I'm doing any top stitching it has to be the right way up. So yeah, it is what it is. But the next step is to attach the yoke to this. So the way we do that, I am actually going to use some pins. I've been trying not to use pins recently because I realised that ballpoint pins exist, firstly, and that realistically then you probably should use ballpoint pins with jersey to avoid making holes. So that is something I've actually been trying to avoid, but also, you know, is what it is, isn't it? So when we've reinforced, we then clip into this corner. There's a circle on the pattern, and that is because this is the seam allowance for this lovely long yoke piece here. So if I pull it down the full length, you will see it goes more like just past it, so it will fill the gap properly. And then we've just got to attach this on both sides to create the V, obviously leaving the neck unfinished at the moment because we do have a neckband to go there. So let's do that. So rather clumsily, I do need to press it, but I think I'm going to have a big pressing session in a minute. I have inserted my central thing. It's actually incredibly hard to stitch a kind of central corner down, but I'm hoping after a bit of inventive pressing and potentially a tiny bit of hand finishing, because it's hard not to get like a hole at the bottom there. I'll show you the other side, which is better. We have our nice contrast V, which is exciting. So there we are, my ridiculous reindeers in my lovely soft French terry. So yeah, it just needs pressing and I think just a tiny bit of hand stitching to finish each of these little corners. So the next stage is we're going to sew up the side seams. It's a nice easy pattern, this actually. Like, it looks really complex because of all the frill instructions, but when you boil it down to the basics, this is the only, like, the inserting of this contrast panel is the thing that's very frustrating. However, everything else is pretty okay, to be honest. I've been really careful to finish all of my edges so that, again, it's not fraying. Hold that up, there we go, lovely. Using my over edge foot. Honestly, now I know what it does, it's fantastic. Like, I use it all the time because I used to use that stitch and I was like, why is it pulling so weirdly and like pulling the fabric together? And it's because the over edge foot, for anyone who doesn't use one, looks like this. So it's got this little kind of ski that you line up with the edge of the fabric, and then underneath, or you can see in the middle, there's this little bar, and the stitches go either side of that bar and then slip off the back, and that keeps them separate while you're sewing, and then they slide back and they maintain distance, which is really clever. So big fan of this. So next stage is let's sew up our side seams, and then we're going to do the neckband, and after that we're on to sleeves. So it's a very quick sew this. I'm doing it as a sort of relaxing Sunday morning sew, but if I was in a hurry I could probably do this in about an hour or two. It really doesn't take long, even the cutting is very quick. So let's get our sides together and then we can attempt a little bit of ironing, I think, to press everything back and down and maybe make sense of this kind of central V a little bit more and see what can be done. And then we'll be onto our neckband. So I took a little change of plan and I just kind of put the neckband in anyway, because hey, why not? I'm actually thinking about it. I don't think I've ever done a neckband before, and if I'm honest, I didn't read the instructions, I just sort of did it, and actually the result is not terrible. I also top stitched around the V to see if it would help, and it did, but then my bobbin caught really strangely at the bottom and has resulted in this slight mess, so I'm going to go through and neaten that up afterwards, I think. But obviously desperately needs pressing, but we have a neckband and it is pretty flat. It's just a bit wobbly because obviously, well, actually no, it's not, it's pretty flat. So there we go, I've got a neckband, I have a reindeer patch in my jumper and the sides are sewn up. So let's have a quick ironing break and then we are sleeves, cuffs, and it's not a cuff but basically the hem cuff, I don't actually know what you call them. You know the bit I mean, this bit on a jumper. So we've just got to add this and then we'll be good to go. As you may have noticed, I changed because it is absolutely freezing and I actually started filming this in my pyjamas because I like to sew in my pyjamas on a Sunday morning, it's relaxing, but it became far too cold, so I am wearing my enormous big fluffy cheer jumper because that is what they're for. We should be done very shortly. Now, sleeves. So the trick is we've got two sleeve cuffs here which get sewn together, right sides together obviously, and then folded to create that nice cozy cuff, same as we have here except this one's ribbing. So we've got two of these to do, and then we've got two sleeves just behind me, and we sew these together beforehand and then we insert them. So it's a nice simple traditional sleeve insertion. I actually quite like sleeves. I get on pretty well with them. My favourite are raglan, but I can do a traditional set-in sleeve. I struggle with anything that needs like a puff, but yeah, sleeves generally are pretty fun. So I'm hoping to just slam these in straight in, and then we've just got the bottom to do and we're done. It's definitely not the neatest garment I've ever made in my life, but it's some relaxing self-care Sunday sewing, and realistically it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be just worn in the house with my pyjama bottoms when it's freezing, nice and cozy, dream Christmas really. So let's get the sleeves in, and then I'm gonna have a quick break for lunch and then finish everything off afterwards. Here we are, my sleeves are in. The cuffs are a little bit messy, but they're my first ones, and honestly I'm not too fussed about it really. This is for me, and it's really nice not to have like tip-top quality, because everything else I'm sewing at the moment is Christmas presents, and obviously if I make a mistake on that I'm like, oh my god, because it's for somebody else, and you know, then it matters. But this is for me, and what's more, it's only to be worn in the house, so I don't care. And honestly, the other thing is I've been quite tired, so I've done all of this. I read the instructions to begin with, as in literally kind of what order do I do stuff in, but once I had, the last time I looked at the instructions is when I looked at attaching the shoulder seams, so I've done all the bands and everything just by kind of having a go. So I'm pretty happy actually. The trick with sleeves is to make sure you mark your notches properly, and then you'll be absolutely fine. So very exciting. Here we are. I was looking at it, and I might make a version with a much shallower V, but without this bit, and make it in like black sweatshirting or French terry, which, oh, I do have some black French terry actually, and make it as a kind of like a deep V-neck sweatshirt, because I think that would look really cute. So watch this space. So the next step is to make the bottom band of the jumper. So we have these two bits. These will be sewn together this way. The bottom will be attached, and we'll fold it up, top stitch, and then we are done. So really excited. And then I think I'm going to wear it for the rest of the afternoon while I do some MA work. So let's get on. Here we are. It's really exciting actually. So in terms of a technical garment, this is production wise pretty poor, in that it's extremely messy. However, no exposed seams, and it's so comfortable. Oh my god. So I'll stand up and show you. So there's a bit of a gather there, but you are meant to stretch the band quite a lot to sew this, so you know, it's there and it works. The sleeves are a good size. This is the medium. And I think in future, like, I could probably get away with a small, but this is very cozy. I think the contrast comes down slightly too far on me. Like, I think it would look better if it was a smaller V, but super cute. Going to definitely get some wear on Christmas Day, and it's really cozy. I'm proud as well. This is the first time I've ever put cuffs or like this sort of waistband or a neckband on anything, so it's kind of fun, and I'm excited I've at least done it once. So I'm going to get some photos and then tidy up and probably bake some biscuits because it's really cold. But thank you so much for joining me for day 6 of Vlogmas. You can see the first 3 installments in the playlist, and I'm going to, now that I'm feeling a lot better, try and go back to doing it daily. But I've got some great videos coming up for you guys, and tomorrow you guys are going to join me for a little bit of a tidy of my sewing space and a little bit of de-stash, I think, as well. So I will see you guys then, but thank you so much for watching.